Good afternoon, students. Can you all hear my voice? Good afternoon, everybody. Can you all hear my voice? Please reply, otherwise, I can't to understand whether you are audible or not. Please, someone unmute your mic and please reply to me.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we are starting our lectures. Early class, before class, we learn what is money and what are the main functions of money and what are the kinds of money. And we talk about what are the approaches of money. So these things we learn through last lectures. Now today we are going to learn about demand for money. Demand, you already know about the term. Money also, you already know about the term. Students, 1 minute. Okay. So you already know about what is demand and you already know about money. The both things are joining here. Demand, what is demand you studied in your microeconomics. Money, you studied in your macroeconomics. So both concepts are connecting. So through this chapter outlines what is demand for money, and there is a classical approach for demand for money, as well as the Keynesian, the economist of Keynesian. He developed three why we are holding money in nowadays. So those things and liquidity, and finally liquidity app also we are today. So money perform the one is unit of account, second one is medium of exchange, and third one is store of value in the economy. What is unit of account? We want to calculate the accounting or calculate the measurement. Money gives the accounting unit of account function. Otherwise, we can't calculate the profit, revenue, as well as expenditure in the particular country or individual life, or as well as a company also. So, once the money have performed as a unit of account is the major basic function, and the second function is medium of exchange. This is the term you already well known through the money concept. Money is avoid the barter system problems, double consideration problems. We already learned. If in nowadays without money we can't to exchange anything. Earlier they exchange the things between two groups or two people. They exchange the goods between the two groups. But in nowadays without money we can't to exchange anything. So whatever we think and imagine as this is a money, through that object we are going to exchange the goods and services or transaction country or nation or our business. So this is the thing. Medium of exchange is the third basic function. Final function is major function, store of value. Without money having the face value, we can't to identify the value of the money. I'm saying the store of value means the face value. 1 rupee or 2 rupee, 3 rupee, we can identify. In this way, this is the basic functions money performs. So generally, money can be defined as which is accepted by the people. People, we are thinking, yeah, this is money. We are accepting. Government also give the approval to those things. Otherwise, we can't to use in the practice. So accept is the most important features of money, which is differentiate it from liquidity. What is the term of liquidity? You will know through the doing the accounts from the balance sheet. The assets are sort out or list out by the liquidity basis. No, debts are list out by the settlement basis. So the liquidity means the particular assets, how many quickly or very speedily it changed as a cash. That is called as liquidity. So the cash is 100% liquidity, but 0% liquidity having a land. So that's the term, the very most features of money which differentiate from the other assets. Other assets having low liquidity, but money having 100% liquidity, because we easily, quickly change as a money into money. Once we have 1,000 rupees in our hand, we can separate as 100 rupees, separate as a 500 rupees, or separate as a 50 rupees, whatever we need to separate. So that is the term of liquidity. But in concern of assets, huge assets like a land. Students, my voice is clear or not? Someone is in the chat box she put. Ma'am, your voice is breaking, ma'am. So now is it clear or not, students? Can you audible? Students, can you audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Unlike the government bonds and corporate debentures, money does not yield interest income to its owner. So, unlike equity shares, it does not promise debentures, capital gains, or insurance against inflation to the owner, and it also does not yield any service utility to its process, which make real assets such as land, house, machines, car, etc. worth processing. People nevertheless hold money because it possesses certain advantages with other assets left. But what is this saying means once the liquidity is 100% having the money like a cash, because they are investing in the another assets, for example some bonds, some debentures, or some treasury bills, treasury bonds, as well as a car, machine, land, house, etc. They are holding these assets like a but those are also having they are willing to purchase some lands, house, as well as machine and car or work process. And why people demand money? Why you all are want to holding money? Students tell why you all need to money. You are holding it at your purse. You are holding money, some amount of money for your purpose, some of the purpose. Why you are holding that? Com 144 tell why you are holding money. 144 commas.
Purchase goods.
Purchase goods. Next, only for purchase goods. at your purse wallet, you are having some amount of money. Why? Why we are having? Why people demand for money? Because money perform the basic important function of we need money. Comfort, if she said earlier, want to purchase, we are holding money. So that's the thing. We are holding money. We raise the demand for money. What is demand for money? Demand for money is how much money or currency or bank deposit with whole given total money. How many amount of money we are holding in our hands. That is one side of currency, or another side we can holding the money in the bank deposit. How much? That is demand for money. At our currency, at our hand, 50,000 we are having. At our bank deposit, 1 lakh we are having. So the total amount of one person demand for money is 150 lakhs. That's a small thing. There are three principal approaches to demand for money: classical approach or simple quantity theory, we can call. And second approach is a Keynesian approach. And finally, is post Keynesian approach, that is called as a modern approach. Here, we mainly talk about the Keynesian approach, is the major thing of demand for money concept. So, classical approach say convenient in 15068 by Jean Bodin to explain the price rise that the people hold money or cash balance only to carry on economic trans and of goods, and simply it's tell why we are holding money only for the transaction, for marketing purchases and sales. For this concept only we are holding money. This theory called as a classical approach theory. Money did not influence in the real process of production. Yeah, this is the main thing. Money for the particular production, once we product the chair, money cannot process, or money cannot influence as a real, as not influence as a real in the production function, but in hiddenly or indirectly money is influencing. For example, for the production of chair, we are using the machineries, including the machinery having money value, but we can't see at the chair making shop. Land is called as money. Among is a it's shaped through that one. So money did not influence in the real process as the medium of exchange, but if we need to exchange something, money just have to present as a real value. This is the main thing. in the land, for the land, once we take as a land, the land having also money value, but we can't to see the real like a money. That's the thing. So money did not influence in real process of production. By slavery as the medium of exchange, it had only relief major inconvenience in the barter system. Double consideration problem is avoided by the money. Money depends on the level of transaction. Approach, the first approach, the aggregate income was because in the classical economy analyzed there was no obstacle to the attainment of such as the level of income, since supply always created its own demand. Without income we can't to hold the money. Did you understand one? Once we go to the work, after after the month end we get salary, then we have money in our hand. Otherwise, without income, aggregate income, we can't to hold the money. We can't to create the demand for money also. Without going to the employment, we cannot earn anything. Once we earn, only we can hold the money and we can raise the demand, or we can raise willing to raise the willing to raise to holding the money in our hand. In classical economics, Fischer is very most famous version and represent the classical approach to the analysis of the relationship between the quantity of money and quantity of money, also called as the quantity theory of called these things are inter the Fisher uh, introduced the quantity theory of exchange. So MV called as a quantity of money and PT called as a price level. V called as a transaction velocity of money. That is number of time unit of money is used to purchase output per unit of time. How many times we are using that called as a V as a velocity. Uh, how many times it circulate in the economy. So through this concept, Fisher elaborate the relationship between the quantity of money and price of level. Fisher explained the money supply created by the banks through the process of credit creation based on the demand deposit. So MV plus MV equal to PT. So once we put as a M called as a M1 money, first time we can put one M1 money, and the second time we can put as a M2 money. Third time we can put as a M3, or finally we can put as a M4. So each and every money supply, we can identify the MVs equal to PT. Once we have to identify the P, the sum is changed as MV divided by T because the process is MV equal to PT. So once we identify the P, the equation is changed. Likewise, once we want to identify the V, the equation will be changed. PT over M. Once we need to identify the T, the equation will become as a MV divided by P. So at your examination, sometimes there is three values for this equation. Once you have to find. So that is based on your examination. So you can change the elements dividing or multiplying. You can get the particular answer for the question. This is the equation. There is three elements was given, but one element we have to identify. So Fisher version and weakness of Fisher quantity theory is the economics both contemplate the sum equation. Fisher transaction equation is not a truism and it does not explain how a change in M changes in P. It is stack theory. Its assumption that M and V and M1 and V1 have a fixed relationship are not realistic. So it is only give the relationship between MV and PT. MV and PT. But the weakness is we cannot identify M relationship between M and V and P and T. We cannot identify. This is the main weakness in this transaction. We only identify the relationship between MV and PT, but we cannot identify the relationship among M and V and P and T. That is the weak point in the Fisher concept. Another development is, or another approachment is Keynesian theory of demand for money or liquidity preference theory. The classical economics did not stress the of value function of money. Consequently, the asset demand for money remain completely negligent in their analysis. According to Keynesian, the classical approach to the demand for money is faulty because it ignored the possibility to the people choosing to holding money as an asset of holding the another financial assets, particularly the government bonds when their prices are expected to hold. So Keynes holding There is three motivations for why people are demand for money. First thing is we are want to transaction. We want to make a personal transaction. We are holding money. Sometimes second category is people why we are holding money is want to need a money for the emergency purpose. So that's the case. We are holding money in through the Keynesian approach. And third one is once we want to invest the money in some other in financial sector. That's the time also we are holding money. We are willing to holding money. So the three concepts are developed by the Keynesian money demanded for the three motives. First thing is transaction motive, why we are holding money. Second one is emergent purpose, that is called as a pre-coronatory motive. And the third one is speculative motive. Speculative motivation means it's a interest rate. Once we want to invest the money in the financial sector through the interest rate also we are holding money for the future. These three concepts, first one is transaction, second one is emergency purpose, and the third one is speculative motive. Keynes developed these three concepts in this demand for money. What is transaction demand for money? Money is mostly important function is to act as a medium of exchange in the economy. This is well known. But the consumers need why need the money as mean they have to payment to buy numerous goods. We are paying some goods from the sellers. We are purchasing some goods from or we are getting service from the sellers. The thing we have first thing is transaction. We need transaction. So for the transaction, we have to pay the money. So that's the need we are holding money. Keynesian told this concept. So here, once in need for holding money arise because there is a time gap between the receipt of income and expenditure. Once you earn money, then only you go to transaction. Without earning, we cannot go to transaction. No, first our earning money or first our earn or first our income, we are going to the shop or we are going to the market to purchase some days. So without income, we cannot pay. So income is received periodically. Sometimes income we earn income weekly or monthly or annually. So for this every purpose, we can spend money for the each and every transaction. Individuals they get money through their salary on monthly basis. Mostly in Sri Lanka, we are get the salary by monthly basis, and we spend the entire income at the first day of the month. Once we get the salary, we purchased everything for that salary. No, at your houses, this is the normal process. We go to the market and purchasing vegetables, whatever we need, we purchase all the things at our first month salary or first getting the salary. First day, everything we vanished out. Why we are vanishing that money? We are want to transact. That is the thing. Normally, we want to purchase the good. We have to pay money. So we are holding money. Developed that on his theory. So once your income is inflation also increasing. Think as like what I am saying. Some small example for you. First time you getting salary as a 50,000. So once you get a 50,000, your transaction is going to 10,000 going to the transaction. Other 5,000 you are saving, but you are getting more than 50,000, like 25,000, your transaction, your purchasing power also increases. You are want to motivate to transact more things. You are motivated to purchase or sell more things. So you have to spend more money, or you have to hold money more once you get the 25,000 salary. In 15,000 you have to spend, or you have to hold the money for the transaction process only 10,000, but 20,000 you are spending money for the transaction is 20,000. So the deviation is 10,000 to 20,000. Once the income is increasing, the transaction motivation also increases. So there is a true relationship. I mean, say that there is a positive relationship. Once the income is increasing, the transaction motivation also increasing. Once the income is decreasing, the transaction process also decreasing. We can see this diagram. We easily identify the money of income. Income is increasing 100, 200, 300. The M1 money of holding money is also increasing 50 rupees, 100 rupees, and 150, 200. So there is a positive relationship among the transaction money of income. This is a normal explanation about his theory. So main thing is income is the main thing. Once the income is motivated, only the transaction also motivate. Otherwise, transaction is not motivated. Did you understand? No. Students, from 145, do you understand this thing? So another thing is determinants. What is the determinant for transaction demand for money? The level of their income. Income is the major thing. What I am saying earlier. Transaction demand for money and the level of money income are positively corrected, correlated. Correlated means that relationship is positive. Once the income is increasing, the transaction of money level also increasing. That is said as through this. So through the graph, M1 is elaborated as the total cash balance demand for money people to satisfy for the transaction motivation. Y is aggregate income. Y is called denoted as this point Y, monthly income. And L1 is a liquidity function corresponding the money income. L means here. Once we interacted the M1 and money income Y, so the L1 holding here. L1 means the liquidity. How much we are having money in the liquidity form, currency form to transact the purchases or selling. So there is a positive relationship. This is the graph also elaborate the cash balance and pay period of days. The days is 0 days, 15 days, 13 days, 45 days, 60 days are going. The cash balance is also 0 days is 200, and 15 days also 200, 30 days also 200. The interval gap is 15 days, 15 days. That is called as a paying period. Among the interval 15 period, we have to use the money of 200. First 0 day, we pay use the money of 200. After the 15 days, we pay the money use the money of 200. After the 15 days, we use the money of 200. Likewise, the cash balance and pay period are going. This is some interval after which income is received. Once your income is come at your hand, how you spend your money at a week or at a days at among the month. Payments practices of the commodity. If the total salary is 400, that is called as this one. Once your salary is 400, instead of bring the begin paid on monthly basis is paid on two equal installment as rupees of 200 each, the same level of money income payment and volume transaction could be accomplished with the half the previously required money stock. So among the 15 days, you are spending 200 rupees among your salary of 400. That is the interval. How you are sharing your money or sharing your income among the particular month or particular week or particular days. For example, if a customer make payment to their suppliers only once in a year, relatively less cash will be needed than if the payment was made by every time it was bought. Development of banking service, the amount of money required for the transaction purpose will also depend on the stage of development of the banking service in the economy. And the practice of accepting banking checks in payment for the goods and services bought by the customer or consumer and producer. Sometimes we pay money through the banking service. That is the development thing why we are holding money. To the transaction, we cannot, nowadays we can't to give the payment by currency. We pay the money through check or we pay the money to the ATM cards. So that also why you are holding the money for transaction purpose. For example, in advantageous countries like USA, advantaged countries, they using transaction demand for money, not the currency. They pay there as use the phone through the phone, Google Pay, some payments methods are there, PayPal. Through that one, they pay the money, but they don't use the currency. So that is also one of the thing we are willing to holding money as in bank or at our hand. That is bank. We are saving money in the bank. That is the development thing. Why we are holding money for the transaction purpose. At the another thing is the card section. Card also we are accepting that is the money for the transaction process. So this is the first thing Keynesian elaborate to us. The nature of industrial structure of the economy, where the different industrial units are vertically integrated, the transaction demand for money will less than if the different business unit being under the different management were not vertically integrated. If the different business unit operated under the same single management rather than each unit under a separate management and inter-unit transaction could be accomplished through more transfer entire in the accounts of book of considering unit without involving the actual use of payment. For example, inter-unit transaction under the management of Tata Sons Limited would be completed by the Mary book transfer without involving the actual cash payment. This is the one development. Without using the cash payment, the Tata Sony company using the transfer payment through Mary book transfer without involving the actual cash payment. So these are the some other payment methods. And the second thing we are going to see here, precautionary method. Why we are holding money for our purpose. The second purpose is precautionary. Precautionary means it's the emergency purpose, like a sick, accidents, death case. We are need to save or we are need to raise the demand for holding money. According to Keynes, that both individuals and businessmen required money to meet the unfrozen conditions like sickness, accident, death. For these concepts also, we are using money for transaction. So it is a convenient to hold some cash when some unfrozen need arise. For example, while going out for shopping normally takes more money with if than is sufficient for his plan. Sometimes we are go to the shop, we have we have hold more money, but we only use the 1,000 rupees. But at our purse we having only 5,000 rupees. But we don't think whatever we want to purchase or whatever happens. Sometimes there is a sickness was happen. Sometimes uncertainty things also happen. So we are holding money excessively for our different purpose. One is the transaction or the precautionary. So that's the thing it's telling. While going out for shopping normally takes more money with his than is sufficient for his planned purpose because his plan might change or he might find some excellent opportunity in the market to shop at the advantageous term. To the businessman, the need for having immediate cash price to meet contingent liabilities or unfrozen opportunity to enter into advanced purchase. According to Keynes, like transaction demand for money as the same positive function. Why I am saying the precautionary monetary function, demand for function money is a positive relationship. Once our income, it is based for the income. Once the income methods also increases. Earlier time, once we getting the income as a 15,000, we only go to the government hospital. Otherwise, we are earning more, 50,000 or 60,000 salary. We are going to check our sickness at the private hospital. So our holding money for the precautionary concept is high based on the income. Likewise, I'm said as a transaction process. Why we are holding money? That is the transaction process and the income between the positive relationship. Same concept is for the precautionary concept as the positive function relationship among income and the precautionary money for holding at our hand. In his approach, M1 means TDFM. TDFM means transaction demand for money. TDFM means precautionary demand for money. So TDMF and PDMF having positive relationship. This is the main thing he explained. But speculative demand for money is based on the interest rate, not the income. But in precautionary method as well as a transaction method, they based on the income of the individual. But the speculative method determinants or demand for money is based on the income, not income, interest. Simply said, now today 13/7/2023. Today interest is 15%. In coming month, the same after 1 month, the income, you hearing the message, the income is going interest is going to raise. Now is 15%. In one after the 1 month, the interest rate is increased to 20% or 25%. So now what you are going to do once you invest or you holding the money, what you are doing at this time? We are like to hold the money for 1 month to invest in the high interest rate. So once the interest rate is low, we are holding money high. Once the interest rate is high, we are holding money less because we didn't hold the money. Once the interest rate is high now, we are going to invest in the financial sectors. That's the thing in the speculative. So here, the speculative demand for money and interest rate having negative relationship. Before we see speculatory demand, that is the positive relationship between income. Here we are not use the income. Here mainly we are use the interest rate at the future. If the interest rate not increase, those holding ideal money cash balance lost interest rate only. Thus, if a person decide to hold cash balance in expectation for rising month. Now, in the month of today, we are having 50% of interest. After the 1 month, we are getting 20% of interest. We are not to invest. We are holding money for that 1 month. Then only we get a high interest. So that's the thing elaborated by the Keynesian through the speculative demand for money. You can see this diagram. Easily we put the speculative demand for money and the rate of interest. Once the rate of interest is high, the speculative demand for money is low. Once the interest rate is low, the speculative demand for money is high. holding demand for money is high. This the thing. It shows the negative relationship among two variables of interest rate and the speculative demand for money. What is rate of interest fall into 2%? The speculative demand for money infinity. Here, the point of C, once the interest rate is low down, money is after the period is not changed. It's going like a linear chord or a straight line after the C. That's the point. Liquidity trap. The lower interest rate we faced in the economy or faced in the country, we didn't invest. We holding the money for the long period. That is called as a liquidity trap. At that time, you are having more currency at your hand. Otherwise, otherwise once the interest rate is increased as a 12 percentage, you are not holding money. You are just only holding 25 percentage, 25,000 only money at the rate of 12 percentage. You are only holding 25,000 at your hand. Once the interest rate is getting low, as 2%, so at that time, the money always at our hand to waiting the high risk only we invest the money. At the time, your holding percentage is reduced. Explained by this liquidity trap. Liquidity trap means once you get the low interest rate point, we do not invest the money. We hold the money for long days. So liquidity is trapped means the holding amount of liquidity of currency cash is our hand. Interest and the beyond point C, the speculative demand curve for money becomes horizontal or flat line. Its interest elasticity become infinity. It's go for this straight line is go for If the high rate of interest, the speculative demand for money is very low, and the 12% interest rate speculative demand for money is zero. See here, once the interest rate is 12%, high percentage, we don't need to holding money. We invest the all money in the bank or fixed deposit or bond or treasury bills. That's the concept developed by the speculative demand for money. Here, total demand for money means, according to the Keynes, PDMF means transaction demand for money, PDMF means speculative demand for money. So once we merge these three things or aggregate or sum these three things, we get the total demand for money through the Keynesian development. Did you understand these things, students? So once we aggregated these three things, transaction demand for money and speculatory precautionary, these things aggregated, the graph will come like this. Here and for money and y-axis include the interest rate. One comes corresponding the given level of aggregate money income rupees of 200. Why is income is 200 and the different rate is 6%? How much you are holding at your hand? This the thing is explained by this diagram. This is the diagram of speculative demand for money. This I already explained. Total demand for money curve is this one. Once we aggregated M1, M2 and M3. At this point, this was elaborated by this graph. Okay. This is not a very big issue. This is the main concept is why we are holding money in nowadays. What is demand for, that is called as a what is demand for money, and what are the three major concepts for demand for money through the Keynesian development and Fischer development also. Fischer theory also we say we saw that called as the MV equal to PT, and we saw the classical approach why we are holding money at our hand. This is a small thing we studied today. Now I am asking some questions to you. What do you understand about this concept? Please unmute your mic and talk with me. And you can ask your doubts also here. Uh, Form 4. Form 4, are you there? Come 4. Please unmute your mic. Come 18. MS 61. MS 61. MS 86. Are you there or not? MS 98. MS 109. 190. 119. The lectures. Anyhow, I wind up the lecture, students.